Okay, so this is the grip video 3, the one that should be done in your holidays. I'm going to start recording and see how far I go before I go wrong or get interrupted. I'm trying to do it all in one go so the videos just stick together. You don't have to keep looking around. Okay, so hopefully this will be nice and clear. So, there are 3 people that share money in the ratio 4, 8 and 5. Alan gets 9 more than Fliss. Work out the amount of money Richard gets. So just a thing to know that this is the order of the ratio as you read it. So Richard's first, so he is first. Alan's in the middle, so he's in the middle. Okay, so Alan gets 9 more than Fliss. So we can see that Alan has the ratio of 8, Fliss has the ratio of 5. So they've got 3 parts between them. And it says that Alan actually gets 9 more. So 3 parts actually equals £9. Okay, and we want to know how much Richard gets. So with ratio, it's all about establishing how much one part is worth. And this one part, I'd have to divide by 3. So I'm going to divide that by 3. So 1 part is worth £3. And then Richard has 4 parts, so it'll be 4 times the £3. So it's £12. That's how much they get. Nice and straightforward. It's a reverse ratio question, but all ratio is establishing what is one part of the ratio worth, and you can do what you need to from there. Like this one, it is a right angle triangle, so I'll put that on. That means it could be Pythagoras or SOHCAHTOA. There's only one side in the question, so it's definitely SOHCAHTOA. So I'm expecting to see that from students who aren't happy with this one at the moment. So SOHCAHTOA, and I know I'm going to use one of those. You label both sides in the question, and you do only label 2 sides. So this one, this side here is between the angle and the right angle, so that is the adjacent side. This one is opposite the right angle, so that's the hypotenuse. And I've only got A and H, so CA is the only one that's spelt using A and H, and CA stands for cos angle equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And then we have to substitute the stuff from the question. So that'll now look cos angle, so cos 26 equals 11 over x. And the way I knew it, it was A over H, so they went in that order. And now I need to rearrange it. So to do this rearrangement, I'm actually going to swap these directly. So x equals 11 over cos 26. I'm going to type in the calculator like that. So that gives me 12.238 blah blah blah. Read the question, give your answer correct to 1 decimal place, which is there. So it's either 12.2 or 12.3. This one is 12.2 centimetres. First of all, terms are arithmetic sequence, so a sequence that goes up at the constant rate. So this is going up in 4s. Write an expression in terms of n for the nth term of the sequence. It's very straightforward. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to write so I've got some space. First of all, you find the gap, which is 4, and that tells me it's related to the 4 times table, and the 4 times table is actually 4n. Okay, I'm just going to show you the easy trick for this one if you don't know it now. You go back 1 place, and if I go back 4, that would be a 1, so it's 4n plus 1. So this is the 4 times table, add 1. And if you think about it, the first one, the 4 times table is 4, add 1 is 5. The second one would be 8, add 1 is 9. So that actually works. So that is the nth term. Okay, this way of doing it, if you don't know it by now, it's a nice one to pick up with the exam practice. Find the gap, put an n on it, go back 1 place, whatever's there gets written on the end. Very straightforward. The nth term for a different sequence is 4n minus 5. Is 103 in the sequence? Show how you get this answer. The best way to do this in my mind is to set up an equation. And when you solve this equation, so I'm adding 5, and you get a whole number, it's 108, divide by 4. If you get a whole number, then the number is in the sequence. If it's a fraction or a decimal, then it's not in the sequence. So if you do 108, it's a calculator page, remember. So 108 divided by 4 is 27. So it's actually the 27th term. So yes. Okay. Some of you extended the sequence over and over and over, and then you proved that it was in it. So you started to generate the sequence and showed that it was in there. Some of you tried different values for n and just did a little bit of trial improvement, but this is the fastest way. Set an equation up and solve it. If it's a whole number, then it works. If it doesn't work as a whole number, it's a decimal, or it's a fraction that you can't simplify down, or it stays a fraction, sorry, then it doesn't work, but this one did. Okay, Shana's driving to visit her friend Annabelle. She drives at 20 minutes. She has to drive 28 miles to get to Annabelle's house, and she needs to get there within 45 minutes. The speed limit is 40 miles per hour. Shan thinks she'll need to drive faster than the speed limit to do the journey she needs to do. Is Shan right? Okay, so if you look at the question, we have distance and we have time. So if we work out the speed that she has to do, from the information we've got, we can see if she's going over 40 miles per hour or not. Okay, so we've got distance, we've got time, we have the speed. So that's 28 miles. This is in miles per hour. So I'm going to turn these minutes into hours. So 45 minutes is actually 3/4 of an hour. 3/4, you can even do this on your calculator. 3/4 is 0.75 as a decimal. So that's actually 0.75 hours. So we've got 28 miles, 0.75 hours. Speed equals distance over time. Some of you may use this, where you cover up what you're looking for, and then you know you're going to divide the two. This one shows that I'm going to do 28 divided by 0.75. Use calculator. So you can see the speed that she has to do is 37.3 recurring miles per hour. So is she right? I will need to drive faster. No, she's not right. Okay, there are other ways to do it. Some people try to show how fast you would travel doing 40 miles per hour and showed that it was over 28 miles. As long as you're clear with your approach, it's absolutely fine what you're going for. Okay, as long as you can demonstrate your steps, you'll be fine. So some of you may have been marked incorrectly because you weren't very clear on your approach. It wasn't easy to understand what you were trying to show. But here you can see I was trying to show the speed. I've proved the speed was lower than 40 miles per hour, so mine's really clear. Okay. This one, unbelievable that some of you got this one wrong. Okay, mode is the most popular. So most popular. So look at the most popular amount of houses in each group. So there's 25 in this one. So this group is the most popular. So the number of letters delivered, the most popular amount of letters delivered is 0 to 2 because 25 houses had that. That was more than any others. The next one, it's one of our go-to questions that we should be able to do by the time the exam arrives. Estimate the mean. Okay. So estimating the mean is where we extend the table and do a bit more. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to extend the table. Now, when it's saying estimating the mean, that's because we're using the midpoint of this. Okay, so let's do the midpoint. So 1, 3.5, 6, and 9. And then we use that to multiply to get our subtotals. Okay, so that's the midpoint times the frequency, the number of things in the table. So just multiply them out using your calculator. 12 times 2.5, this is 42, 48, 45. And then you need to add this to get your grand total, because estimating the mean, it's the grand total over how many are in the table. Not how many rows, how many are in the table. And it already says there are 50. So if you start dividing by 4 because there are 4 rows, you don't understand this question right now, and you need to watch this carefully because you're making basic mistakes that are making you lose really simple marks. So if it doesn't say that in the question, you need to add the second column, the frequency column always, and that'll become what you're going to divide by. So you always do that. After that, we don't need this bit and we don't need this bit. We just did that to get the values, to get the grand total. The grand total, you're going to add this. So just add it, take your time. Some people did this without a calculator. What a waste of time in a calculator exam. Use that calculator. Just type it in here. It doesn't ask me to round or anything, so divide that by 50 and I get 3.2. So it's 3.2 letters. Okay, done. Right, the next one. Reading the question is key. So it says it's a right angle triangle. It's not likely that it's going to be SOHCAHTOA again. And let's just have a look. You've got 2 sides. It's not asking for anything to do with the angles inside, so it's going to be a Pythagoras. If it was dealing with angles inside, then we'd talk about SOHCAHTOA. So work out the perimeter of triangle ABC, which is this. To do that, I need to know this side here. I don't know it. The only way to find a missing side when you've got two sides in a right angle triangle is Pythagoras. And I'm trying to find a short side. So to find a short side, we square the two values and take them away. Always put the big value first. So x squared equals whatever it equals. So just put it in here. 51. And then we square root. So the examiner is looking for you to follow this process of getting the value for Pythagoras. So it wants to see the square root regardless if you added or subtracted here. It wants to see that you know the remaining part of it if you didn't do that bit right. So I've got x equals 7.14142, etc. It wants it to 2 decimal places, so I need to keep this answer to at least 3 decimal places so I don't make any mistakes with my rounding. The perimeter is where you add all 3 sides together, so that's what I'm going to do. So from here I'm going to take that, I'm going to leave it in my calculator, I'm going to add 7, I'm going to add 10, and I get 24.1414, etc. And to 2 decimal places, which is there, it's 24 point either 14 or 15. I'm going to put 14 units centimeters. Okay. So it was a basic perimeter question that relied on us using Pythagoras to find a missing side. Okay, this one. Nice and straightforward. The turning point is where the graph changes direction. So that's right at the bottom here. Okay, that's the turning point. And that roughly is in line with that and roughly about there. So going along the corridor first, I'm going to say minus 1.5. And then looking here, it's minus 4.2, 4.3. So mine, maybe it should have been a little bit higher. I'm going to go for minus 4.2. So that's the turning point. It's actually called the minimum point there. Next one is nice and straightforward. It's just asking you to add lines onto it. So it wants to know what the value of the graph is at 1. So what we have to do, I'll look at my ruler, is draw a line at 1. So there's 1 through the y-axis, and then draw a line straight down from there and there. Okay, and that will then give you values where it's equal to 1. So it's going to be, I reckon, 0.8 and minus 3.8. Okay, so there we go. So write down the value of f to the minus 3.